on us.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Johnny here, and welcome to the very first assignment critique. And I'm super pumped to be here as always, and I'm here with my main man B. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, man, really excited.
Really excited. And hey, guess what, guys? We're lucky enough to have Andrew Whistler here. How are you, Andrew?
Doing awesome. Awesome,
man. And I heard that you've been on a little adventure recently, and you want to tell us about that little scarf thing that's going on there too?
Yeah. So I just got back from a photo trip to Death Valley National Park in California, and shooting with 3 buddies of mine, and we had just really awesome weather, and so we were out in the desert, and so I brought my desert garb, so my shemagh, which is like a Middle Eastern scarf kind of thing, keeps the sun off of you. And we had really great weather all week, so my friends were joking like this is the lucky shemagh, and I like to call it the shemagh of destiny. So
that's epic, brother. Yeah, thanks for that.
What's I love that?
Plus it kind of smells like my essence a little bit now too, so that's good. You know.
I don't know about that. You gotta watch that bad boy, man.
And we love Andrew's hanging floating doors behind him there.
Yeah, it's like that's awesome. I love that, man. Cool. And Brad, man, what's been happening with you, man?
Yeah.
You've been up Barrington shooting, is that right?
Yeah. So I've been done a couple of assignments. I went to the Barrington Tops to photograph for national parks for Johnny's job.
Awesome, man.
I think it was actually Johnny's job.
It was my job, but one word, baby.
Yeah, I know. No, good. And I've been in the lounge every day, man.
Yeah, man. Loving the lounge.
Incredible, guys. And while we're here, I thought maybe I'd share a couple of statistics.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Let's run through the stats.
I actually ran them. You know, we've only been going for about 2 months almost. Well, basically 1 month for the general public. And here's what we've got, guys. This is amazing. We've got 1,500 comments on images in the lounge.
So that's just the media comments. That's
comments.
That's not share for peer review. That's amazing.
No.
That is just incredible. So 1,500 people have given awesome, positive feedback on other people's images. Yeah. That's really inspiring, man.
I know, and 678 images have been put into the lounge so far for comments. People are giving comments on them. And actually just last month, this is a really cool thing. So just March, we had 980 comments on media in the lounge. So 980 positive feedback on images in the lounge. So that's just amazing.
Man. And I've been busy too. Baby. That's it.
One word.
Yeah, that's it. Hence this big copy.
I know, that's crazy.
Cool. All right, guys.
So should we jump in and have a look at the assignment?
Yeah. Let me share the screen here. I'm going to share the entire screen. I'm going to share, and I'll just flick over here. So first off, guys, we just wanted to run through some of the images I thought were just stunning. You know what? If I had taken some of these images, I would be so happy. Andrew, I just want to see you can see my screen there, okay, buddy?
Yep, I can see it.
Yeah, awesome, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so this first one here is from Stephie, and this is just beautiful. Look at that beautiful, I don't know if that's morning or afternoon light just coming through the trees along the waterfall, and I think you've chosen a wonderful shutter speed there. What do you guys think about this one?
I love it, man. It's a 10-second shutter speed.
Yep.
With an ND filter, and just to get that beautiful milky water flowing down there, and I love that light coming through right in the middle, and it actually draws your eye into the light. So from the bottom, my eye comes in from the bottom left, and it draws my eye up into that the kind of light ray that's coming through the trees. It's just beautiful image.
It's awesome. I've really got nothing to add about that one. I think you've done a gorgeous job there. Let's jump onto the orange, and I think this is another wonderful image here from who did this one?
Ricardo.
From Ricardo. Awesome. Yeah. And I think Ricardo, Andrew might have had a little tip for you here as well.
Well, yeah, actually, the tip I wanted to share is actually for everybody else, kind of. So, this was an image where he stopped action of the water. And the shutter speed was a 200th of a second, but he lit this using the speed light. And so just the one tip I wanted to share was that when you're using a speed light, the flash duration of a speed light is really short. So you even though you're using the 200th of a second for the shutter speed, you're really getting more like 1,000th of a second or faster as far as stopping action, because the duration of the flash is really short, and so that's a really good way to do stop action if you want to stop water droplets or stop fast moving objects. And so it's kind of a little bit of a trick that Ricardo used there, but something that people may or may not know about. So it's a good way to stop actions using the speed light.
It's awesome, man. I think he's done a great job with this image.
Yeah, did he actually drop that orange?
Yeah, I want to know how he actually, you know what? I want to know how he held his hand in the air and dropped the orange in.
That's it,
man. I want a behind-the-scenes shot of that, Ricardo. So there's your challenge for the next time, mate. Show us that one. We go. All right, let's move on to the next one here. And I love this panning image here by Julie. Yeah. I think she's done a great job here. And where's it's beautiful. I actually love the processing in this one too. I love the toning. Sorry?
Yeah, 1/30th of a second.
1/30th of a second, this one. Yeah, that's awesome. And panning, you know what? Panning isn't easy. And in this situation, I'm sure this guy wasn't going past 5 times for her to get the shot. I'm sure this was a one-off, a one-off moment to capture. So
definitely, and quite a wide-angle lens, 16mm lens.
Wow.
At 1/30th of a second, f/14 aperture, so basically a closed-down aperture. And that's lovely. I mean, that image is amazing because the person on the motorcycle, I don't know if it's a male or female, but their face is sharp and everything else is blurred, and that's a perfect panning shot. And panning is quite difficult because you actually got to focus on something coming towards you sometimes, so that the distance, the focal distance changes, or the focusing distance changes as they're coming towards you. So you need a camera that can actually track the focusing as well as moving with the background blurred. So great image, Julie.
Yeah, real skill to get that. And man, I love the color of the buildings in the background too, and that desaturated look. I love the processing in this one. That's awesome.
That's awesome. And anything you wanted to add to that, Andrew?
No, I think I really love this shot. I love the colors, all the pastels, the kind of the burgundy and the green, and the texture of the background is just awesome. I mean, it's just really the shutter speed just really gives it a beautiful texture. So it was really nicely done.
Awesome.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome.
All right,
Jenny.
Yeah, I thought this was a really nice image. You know the choice of shutter speed here. Have you got what was the shutter speed for that one? Anyway, I really love the choice of her shutter speed here. You can see, it's just enough to sort of freeze a little bit of that action, but get a bit of motion in those waves crashing along the pier, and I think it's lovely.
Just click on the info tab, and we should have the shutter speed.
It's I think about 8/10 of a second, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 4/5 of a second.
Mm-hmm.
4/5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 4/5 of a second.
Or is that 4 seconds?
No, it's not 4 seconds, bro. Must be 4/5. But anyway, I think it's a great job. I love the composition. I love the misty mood and feeling. It just gives great depth to the image and just that soft sort of black and white conversion. And I just thought it was a really, really lovely image. I think what really makes it for me is that misty off into the background, giving the image depth. So,
and also the leading lines from the top right going, taking your eye down into that wave. And I think it looks like there might even be a surfer about to paddle for the wave. In the background there, but great image, Jenny. Love the monotone. image on that too.
I mean, you could have easily, put an ND on and made this, a super long exposure and have everything flat. But the thing that appealed to me was that the use of the shutter speed, and there's a little bit of movement in those waves crashing. It's just
definitely. And I think it should go on with the longer shutter speed too. You wouldn't have the wave on the left there at the back where the surfer is about to catch it. You wouldn't see that.
Yeah, you wouldn't have the textures in the foreground and stuff like that as well. So Is there anything you want to say about that one, Andrew? Or?
No, I think I agree about the shutter speed. There's that nice softness of the mist, and I think if you used a longer shutter speed, everything would just be all really soft. So I think the softness of that mist mixed with the texture in the foreground is really a nice gives it a nice feel. It's beautiful.
Hey, Johnny, what we should do is I wonder if anyone wants to that's on this live call wants to actually give us some comments. So I don't know if you want to check for the comments, so you can just look in the comment little window.
The Q&A.
Q&A over there. So if anyone has any questions on the Q&A, can you just send them through, and Andrew will have a look at those. Okay.
Yeah, cool. All right. All good. Otherwise, we can catch up in the lounge anyway when we post this, bro. That's all good, man.
Awesome.
All good. Let's move right along. So I put this one in because this one's the total opposite. We talk about that super long shutter speed, and you can see what the longer shutter speed's done there. And I'll just go down the information tab there, and we'll figure out what the shutter speed was for that one. Can you see it there, bro?
Did he have it?
I can't see it in the...
Okay.
But anyway, it is a longer shutter speed, and you can see. But I actually what I like about this one, the longer shutter speed has actually allowed the water to mist and give it a soft feeling all the way off into the distance, and it helps with those reflections as well on the water. You know, it sort of clears the water up and makes for a much cleaner image. You know, and it's generally I like the texture in the timber. I think the processing looks nice there. But I just want to show this one, and sorry, I should have mentioned this one's from John. Nice work, Johnny. Nice name too, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is great, and love those lines coming out of the water. Just amazing.
Yep. Very cool. Very cool. Have you got anything for that one, Andrew?
Yeah, no, there was some discussion in the comments about, you know, wouldn't it be nicer if it was more symmetrical? But I think the fact that it's kind of asymmetrical, it makes it kind of unique. You know, and you could even frame it so that the archway was, you know, kind of more on the third, and you kind of have the asymmetry of the pier. But yeah, I really like the choice of shutter speed. Very nice.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, no, that's the one thing that appealed to me was definitely
Awesome,
the shutter
John.
speed.
So what do you guess it is? Because I know he doesn't mention in there, but
it's quite long, man.
I'm saying probably like 2 minutes or something. What do you think?
Yeah, maybe. I reckon you could, depending on it. Look, it all depends on how much movement was in the water at the time.
Yeah, and I see some cloud movement too.
Yeah, there is a bit of cloud movement there. So yeah, maybe. Yeah. Anyway, John, it'd be nice to hear what the shutter speed was for that one, because it's not in the metadata there. I can't see it. So anyway, yeah, cool. All right, next one. All right, guys. So Alex, I think this is one from Alex. Did you want to start with this one, B?
Yeah. So, you know, a great, and this is a long exposure too. I think he used two ND filters, if I remember right. So yeah, 35 seconds. And if you just go to the comments on the top there, so he looked, a 9-stop filter plus a 3-stop ND filter. So there's a lot of light that he's cutting out there, but you know, great image, and I love the water movement. You know, it's milky. There's a little bit of cloud movement on the top right. I like his composition. He used the rock in the foreground, definitely the point of interest over there. But for me, the sun is just a little bit overexposed. I think he's lost information in the sun, and you know, I don't know if we could pull that back from the raw image in Lightroom. What do you think, Johnny?
It's probably a bit far gone, I would say, and it's always tricky when you're stacking this many filters to get the exposure right, and often it takes a few goes playing around with the exposure. Now, I would say if I was doing this shot, I would have taken probably an underexposed a fair bit to try and hold some of their detail back. And you could also have taken a couple of frames and blended it in post. And I know Andrew is the luminosity mask king. He's been putting some awesome stuff in the lounge, man. We appreciate it. I know the community's been appreciating too. So that's probably something that particularly this image, it may have need at least 2 exposures. Something, you know, maybe even 2 under, and then something exposed on the money, and blending those together. So
definitely. And what is that on the bottom right? There looks like some writing from the filter. I think looks like the filter. Maybe the sun's actually reflected or come into the filter, and it's actually bounced off, and you can see the name of the filter.
Yeah, that's
on the bottom right there.
So when you do get lens flare like that, guys, I often think to myself, if the sun is in the image, it's okay to have a bit of lens flare. That's what, you know, general rule of thumb. It's not always the rule of thumb, but that's what I like to do. But say the sun wasn't in this image and you had that lens flare there, something you can do is take one image, find out where the lens flare is, put your hand up and cover that part of the image, and then take another image without the lens flare and blend those two together in post. So that's, but general rule of thumb, if the sun's in the image, you can get away with a bit of lens flare.
And actually, I was getting that the other day when I was photographing waterfalls. I had a very wide-angle lens, and I was shooting actually into the light.
Yep.
And I had to use my hand to cover the filter because I was, you know, you can just see the contrast come back as soon as you move the hand and you actually cover the sun's rays from actually hitting the front of your filter. You can actually see the contrast come straight back into the image. But then sometimes you get like this funny yellow blob at the top, which is your hand in the image. So you've got to be careful.
I mean, you can do that. You can either have to put your hand in the image and blend 2 exposures back later, or if you can just block that little bit of sun out.
So Andrew, tell us what you think about this image and how it could be better.
I really like the composition. Yeah, these are always technically difficult because you know, usually even with you know, newer cameras, you need when the sun's in the frame, you need a couple of exposures to really capture the full range. And so I usually would do a couple of underexposed images and blend them. And then the other thing is that you know, it's always there's a kind of a give and take when you're using filters in front of your lens when you have the sun in the frame. because you always get a lot more glare. So if you it's hard when you have the filters on there. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, technically, I totally agree, man. This is a very difficult image, stacking filters, middle of the day,
Right.
massive, dynamic range. Well, not middle of the day, but the sun's definitely risen in the frame. It's one thing I would say about the composition, just from my point of view, is I feel like that rock is a bit too centered for me, the one in the foreground. I probably would have taken a couple of paces to the left. So what that would have done is move that rock over a bit. And I would have pointed, and still just got the sun in the frame, and maybe this rock on the right here as well would be then out of the frame as well, because I don't think that one's doing it any justice. It's just out of the frame. But look, technically a really challenging image, but I think it's I love the shutter speed you've chosen, because I love the there's a little bit of reflection there. If this had been exposed perfectly, there would have been a nice little reflection. You can see it just on the horizon there. There's some reflections from the clouds. So
great job, Alex.
Yeah. It's a really technically difficult image, and I think if it wasn't blown out there in the sun, I think it'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome. Great job, Alex. Let's move on to the next one. And I think Brent,
Angela, So what I like about this image that Angela has given us, and I'll just have a look at what shutter speed she's using here. So 1/400th of a second. So it's pretty fast shutter speed, or actually really fast. But there's a little bit of blurring in the wings. So it's not like if it was maybe 1/2000th of a second, you wouldn't get any blurring in the wings, and it would look like a statue. Yeah. But now I can see movement, so the duck's standing up, it's flapping its wings really fast, and you get that slight movement in the wings, but everything else is sharp. And that's what I like about this image. It's and also the way she's composed it, so the duck's actually looking into some open space.
Yep.
It's got a place to walk to or fly into. So we haven't cropped off the left really close to the wings, and that's great too. And
yeah, no, I think you've done a good job capturing that, and I totally agree with the movement of the wings. I love that. I'm actually wondering if I would have liked to seen a little bit more space that he was looking into. And the reason I say it, I think that shadow that shadow is adding interest to the frame as well. So even just a little bit more off to the left-hand side, I think, for me. But I think, you've nailed the focus. With wildlife, it's always important to get the eye in focus, and you've done that. And I love the movement in the wings. Is there anything you got for that one, Andrew?
No, I agree. I think the choice of shutter speed is really good, and I agree about the shadow. I guess one of the habits that's really good to get into, and it takes a lot of practice. But just even as you're framing it in the viewfinder, just to kind of run your eye around the perimeter of the frame and say, is there anything that I'm cutting off, or anything that that is there that shouldn't be there, that I can change my framing just a little bit. But yeah, that's just something that takes some practice. So, but yeah, I agree. It has a nice sense of movement to it. I really like that.
Yeah, no, that's a really good tip, man. And in landscape images particularly, there's often little things jutting in here and there. And you can fix a lot of things in post, but if you can get it clean as possible in camera, it just cuts your processing down, by so much. So, definitely. Awesome, great capture, Angela. Awesome use of shutter speed there. I love it.
Great.
All right, next one.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Brent.
So Sharon put this one into the assignment category, and it's a panning shot. So there's some movement in the background. What I love about this image is you can see the driver's eyes in the go-kart. You can see that intensity in his eyes. He's obviously coming really fast around this corner. I think that the height that you're shooting at is quite good. Like you've got
getting down a bit lower,
the blurred, bumper tires in the foreground. But I think to make this image stronger, so what Sharon could probably do is maybe use a wider angle lens and get closer to the person racing the go-kart. That way you get more blurring in the background. Even at the same shutter speed, you get more panning and it would show more movement, because to me the blurring in the background isn't enough to show enough movement, because they obviously scream around these corners, these guys on these go-karts. And let's have a quick look at what shutter speed she used.
Yeah, I think I like the image too, and the fact that his eyes are in focus and you can see them is just absolutely amazing.
Yep.
I would have actually liked to see just a little bit more space around him, just to give him more of a sense, of the place that he's in. I think it's a little bit tight, particularly on the top. The top of the bar, and again, just like the duck, I probably would have liked to see a little bit more up front where he's headed to. But that's just I think it's cropped a little bit hard. So
definitely, and she's shooting at a reasonably fast shutter speed, 160th of a second.
Okay. What would be more optimal?
120 millimeter lens. So I would get maybe a 60th of a second, so maybe drop it way down, or even a 30th, and get closer with a wide angle lens, like a even a 50 mil, standard lens, or maybe something wider, 35 millimeters or something like that.
Yeah.
And that way, but sometimes you can't get that close because of safety.
Yeah, that's it. I'm sure those are.
Get your fisheye out for that one. Yeah.
Yeah, you can be the bumper on the edge.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome, guys. And Andrew, anything you wanted to add to this?
No, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I think with these panning shots, you just really have to play around with shutter speed as you're shooting them, because depending on your subject and how fast they're moving, there may be different shutter speeds that will be optimal. So you just have to kind of practice. With these shots too, it's really good to think about what your background is, and so he's got those tires kind of behind him. So if you position yourself so that you had more of an unobstructed background, and then had a little bit of a slower shutter speed, so everything was kind of blurred, it would make a nice a nice backdrop. So
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
So I think that comes to the end of the critique session. Have you got any more?
Is there one more? Yeah,
There's one more.
Yeah, and Gail, I really love this image here from Gail. Actually, let me click this off so we can have a look. It's the Northern Lights, she says, which is absolutely amazing, because I so want to go and shoot some photographs of Northern Lights, man. Definitely bucket list. And I think you've done a great job with the exposure here. And obviously, what's the shutter speed on this one? Let me have a look here at the information.
8 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, is that what that is?
Yep. 8 seconds.
8 seconds. So yeah, that longer exposure there is obviously giving it that bit of movement in the light there. Is that what happens with the Northern Lights? I've never shot the Northern Lights, so I'm just surmising.
Andrew would be an expert on that.
Yeah, you might know, Andrew.
I've actually not shot them yet, but it's definitely on my short list. So
yeah, man, we're gonna have a sick workshop shooting the lights. Let's do that.
Yeah, sign me up.
Now we're talking. So a couple of things about this, I think Gail might help. One is that stands out to me totally is that power line there. Like, I'm not sure if you could have moved into another position. I'm not sure of the exact location, but I think that line there, it really takes away from the image. If that wasn't there, it'd be such a stronger image. You could clone that out, but look, it's a fair bit of work. It would have been easier to take a bit of a walk to the right and reframed. Yeah. And the other thing I see too, and sometimes it does add to the image having like city lights or lights into the distance, but I don't know, the Northern Lights are so beautiful. I would have rather, even a silhouetted tree background with the Northern Lights above it rather than the lights there on the horizon. I mean, that's personal preference. I know. You see some people shoot these night shots and they do have a bit of light bleeding or man-made light in the image. But I think for this, given how beautiful those tones are, from the greens to the purples all the way up to the blues in the top of the frame, I would have liked to see a composition without man-made light
Definitely.
in it. But anyway, that's and like I said, this trees on the left-hand side, little silhouetted trees. Even if there was a location where that filled the bottom of the frame, and you didn't want to light paint, that you had somewhere like that where you could, have, I don't know, just a bit more of a natural feel. But anyway, that's personal preference.
And Andrew, you've got a rule when it comes to photographing stars so that they're not blurred.
Yeah, yeah. It's usually people refer to it as like the 500 rule. So. And basically what you do is you take your focal length, or at least the full frame equivalent focal length. So if you're shooting a crop sensor, then you look at what the equivalent would be for full frame, and you multiply that times your exposure in seconds, and that number should be less than 400 or 500, and that will ensure that you have stars that are nice and crisp and sharp. So so if you're shooting a wide lens like a 14 or 16 millimeter lens on a full frame camera, you can usually shoot about a 20 to 30 second exposure and still have the stars be sharp. And that rule holds fast even if you're shooting something like the moon. So if you're shooting the moon at night and you want it to be sharp, you can use that same rule. So if you're using a long lens, then you're going to be using a really short shutter speed, like a half a second or a second. So,
that's right. Yeah, no, that rule works fine. I've used that before in the past. It's great. Yeah.
Thanks.
So I think it's lovely, and we're going to come and shoot the Northern Lights with you someday. I want to get there.
Got to get up there.
For sure. All right, man. So that was the images we picked. I just want to go back over the assignment tab quickly and just have a quick scroll through. Look at all these submissions. I think there was about 40 in total, which is absolutely amazing, guys. And you can see, look at the top here. This image here has had 109 views and
17
comments.
I know, that's crazy.
Guys, we are so happy how the lounge is going and how it's helping everyone improve their photography. It's just, it's so inspiring, isn't it?
Definitely.
All right, so let me jump back over to the window. I'm going to stop the sharing because we just went through a time warp. And we're back. Yeah.
Awesome, guys.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, so once again, I want to thank everyone that's entered their images into the assignment. I know sometimes it's a little scary when you put your images in there and have people critique them or give you comments on them, but that's the way to learn. You know, the only way to learn is actually to put it out there. And the Share, Inspire, Create Lounge is a very positive place. No one says anything negative there, and people give you great positive feedback, so you can improve. So it's really good.
Yeah, it's a win-win, guys. And so the next assignment, what we're going to do, we're going to pick 3 topics, and we're going to put it in the assignment forum there and get you guys to vote on which one you want to do next. And we're going to get that started ASAP, everybody. So you guys get to choose which assignment you want to do next. And with the assignments, guys, I highly recommend, if you can, is go out and shoot for the assignment, because that really helps. Yeah. You know, if you've got to go out and create an image based on some composition or shutter speed or aperture or something like that, man, I tell you what, it just pushes the boundaries of your photography, doesn't it, mate?
For sure.
And so much fun. You got anything you wanna finalize about the assignment there, Andrew?
No, I think everybody did. Everybody did a great job. It's great to see all the submissions, and it's just really great, all the positive comments. So I think it's I think it's great that people of all levels can share their images and get some good feedback, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's all about, totally agree, man. It's all about getting involved. All right, guys, that was epic. Is there anything else you want to add, buddy?
No, just look, guys, if you aren't in the Share, Inspire, Create Lounge and you're watching this, I highly encourage you to check it out.
Yep, there'll be links below this post, and get in there and check it out, guys. Because I tell you what, I can't stop. Every time I wake up, I'm like, what's going on in the lounge, man? I'm gonna go and check it. This is awesome.
It's part of my morning routine now. I get up, have a coffee, jump into the lounge, comment on a whole bunch of things, and then go for a run or something.
I know, man. I just love seeing people. You know what my number one favorite thing is?
What?
Is when people put an image up for a peer review, and then people, 10, 20, 30 comments later, they've gone back and post-processed the image or reshot it, and they've put another image up, and it's just a transformation. I absolutely love that, man.
In the same thread.
The before and after, it's just, oh, man. I just love that, because to me, that's just like the one thing that totally proves that your photography is improving by being in the lounge. Yeah, totally. Love it. Awesome, guys. So that's it. Jump in the thread, and we'll have the next 3 options there. Please vote, and wicked. Thanks, guys.
And thanks for being on, Andrew.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cool. I should say, Andrew, you rock, bro.
Yeah. Thanks, man. You rock.
Thanks, man. All right, guys. We're out. Take care.
See you in the lounge.
See you in the lounge, guys. Bye.